Rain clouds hung heavy over the deserted highway as Sarah pulled into the dimly lit gas station, her old sedan sputtering in protest. She glanced into the rearview mirror, meeting the sleepy eyes of her 6-year-old son, Ethan, curled up in the backseat beneath a worn blanket. They'd been driving for hours, escaping another long day of juggling double shifts and unpaid bills. Sarah sighed, clutching the last $20 bill in her purse, just enough for gas and maybe a small snack for Ethan. The fluorescent lights flickered as she stepped out, shivering slightly under the chill breeze, her thin jacket offering little warmth. She began to pump gas, lost in thought, when a group of 3 men emerged from behind the convenience store, their laughter sharp and mocking against the night's silence. The tallest one, wearing a torn leather jacket and a smirk that made her skin crawl, sauntered closer. "Hey there, sweetheart," he sneered. "You all alone out here?" Sarah tightened her grip on the gas pump, pretending not to hear. Her heart thudded against her ribs. The men exchanged glances, emboldened by her silence. Another one leaned against her car door, peering through the window at Ethan, who stirred and rubbed his eyes. "You got yourself a little passenger too. Cute. Shame if something happened to you two out here." Their laughter echoed, cruel and sharp. Sarah's breath quickened. She looked toward the empty road, wishing for a passing car, a patrol, anything. But the highway remained dark, desolate, and still. She tried to remain calm, her voice trembling. "Please, just leave us alone." The ringleader stepped closer, invading her space. "We're just being friendly," he said, his tone dripping with mockery. "You should smile more." Sarah's hand shook as she replaced the pump and fumbled for her keys, desperate to leave. But the man slapped the roof of her car. "Not so fast. We're not done talking." Ethan sat up now, his small face pressed against the window, fear written across his features. "Mom," he whispered, his voice muffled but trembling. Sarah swallowed hard, tears pricking her eyes. "It's okay, honey," she said softly, though every nerve in her body screamed otherwise. Then, over the roar of her heartbeat, came another sound, low, distant at first, then growing louder. The rumble of engines. Headlights pierced through the mist as a group of motorcycles rounded the corner, their chrome gleaming under the station's flickering lights. One by one, they pulled in, circling the pumps with a presence that demanded attention. The thugs froze, glancing nervously as the bikers shut off their engines in unison. The leader of the pack, a broad man with weathered eyes and a jacket bearing a wolf insignia, dismounted and stepped forward, his boots echoing against the pavement. "Everything all right here, ma'am?" he asked, his voice steady but firm. Sarah looked up, relief flooding her chest as the men who moments ago had laughed now took a step back, their bravado faltering under the bikers' silent, watchful gaze. The air thickened with tension as the engines clicked softly, cooling under the fluorescent hum. The 3 thugs stood frozen, exchanging uneasy glances. The leader of the bikers took another step forward, his towering frame casting a shadow over the men who only moments before had been swaggering with arrogance. His name, stitched in faded thread across his jacket, read, Hawk. His eyes were calm but deadly, eyes that had seen more than enough of men like them. "She looks scared," he said quietly, almost conversationally, "and I don't like seeing women scared." The silence that followed carried weight. The thugs shifted uneasily, their earlier confidence evaporating. One tried to force a laugh. "We were just talking, man. No harm done." Hawk tilted his head, his voice calm but cutting through the air like steel. "Funny, I didn't hear her laughing." Behind him, the other bikers, men and women alike, spread out, forming a loose semicircle. Their leather jackets bore the same insignia, worn but respected. Sarah stood still, clutching her car keys tightly, heart pounding, afraid to speak or move. Ethan peeked from the window, eyes wide, watching the silent standoff. One of the bikers, a woman with a braided ponytail and tattoos on her arms, gave Sarah a small reassuring nod. "You're safe now," she said softly. The words washed over Sarah like a wave of relief she didn't realize she'd been holding back. The tallest thug spat to the side, trying to muster his bravado. "Come on, guys, let's go. Ain't worth it." He turned, muttering curses under his breath, but his voice shook slightly. The others followed quickly, glancing back only once before disappearing into the darkness beyond the station lights. Hawk watched until their silhouettes vanished, then turned toward Sarah. "You okay, ma'am?" His tone softened now, fatherly even. Sarah blinked, trying to steady her breathing. I think so," she stammered. "Thank you, I didn't know what to do." Hawk nodded, giving a faint smile. You don't have to thank us. We look out for folks who need it. He knelt slightly, peering through the car window at Ethan. You did good, kiddo. Brave little man. Ethan smiled shyly, clutching his blanket. Sarah wiped at her tears, half in shock, half in gratitude. I didn't expect anyone to stop, she admitted quietly. Seems like people don't anymore. Hawk glanced at his crew. That's the thing about good people, they don't make noise. But they're out there. He waved one of his riders over, who handed Sarah a small stuffed wolf from his saddlebag. For him, Hawk said simply. Ethan's eyes lit up as he hugged the toy close. As the engines roared back to life, Sarah stood beside her car, watching them disappear down the road, their tail lights glowing red against the night. For the first time in a long while, she felt something stir in her chest, hope, warm and steady, breaking through the darkness like dawn.